Hey everyone, Duane here.
With Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Good.
All right, so tonight's Halloween. So how did that go? We
Good.
like walked
Yeah.
around like the entire neighborhood, didn't we?
Almost.
Almost. Well, tell everyone how it was. Did you
Oh
get a
yeah.
big? Did you get a big
Yes.
haul or
Yeah,
what?
I would show it, but it's too heavy
It was too heavy.
to
What you
bring
had?
upstairs.
So you came home and you emptied the
Yeah.
bag out and then went back out. That's like
To my friend's party, and then to hang out with you guys at the neighbor's house.
That's right. All right, so it's we have a little announcement about our Sunday night thing. Gavin's out of school tomorrow, so
Yep.
that's why he's up this late. So we're changing starting next week. What is that? November 7th, right?
Yeah.
Yep. We have a special guest coming up, which we'll announce later this week. And we are moving our live streams to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Mr. Gavin here can do the live stream with us and actually go to bed on time, right?
Yeah.
So you can wake up ready to go the next day at school.
Yeah.
All right. So tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. Is that enough vagueness or what? I am shooting for tomorrow for a video that's going to totally blow your mind when it comes to the ordering process for the Bronco.
Yes,
Uh,
it's pretty whack.
It's pretty intense. Not hearsay, not one of those deals. Gavin and I just went.
Might wanna plug
Yeah,
that.
Gavin and I just went through that last week. You know, we have our Bronco, our 21 Badlands, and so we went through the ordering process for our 22. So tomorrow we're going to have a video. I don't think we're going to do a live. I think it'll be a video because I'd like to share some stuff to show a timeline and a timestamp. But it's totally going to blow your mind on what you can and can't do in the ordering process. So I just have to make sure it's okay with one other person before I do it. And then tomorrow night, and I think it's pretty cool. You were
Yeah.
like amazed,
Yeah.
like the whole thing.
And Dad, can I tell him what I might be doing for me, like your channel and my channel
Absolutely. Go ahead.
for the
Tell 'em.
Bronco? We're gonna be updating a video either tomorrow or in a couple days about how to remove the top.
That's right. A soft top.
Yeah, soft
Right.
top.
Well,
Or not remove it, but like fold it.
yeah,
and
right.
stuff.
So there's two positions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah. So there's two positions. One, all you have to do is just like pull the clips down, then fold it back. And then for the second one, you take out the back panels and the very back panel, then you fold the entire
When you,
top
when you
back.
say panels, now panels, people think MIC. So you're
Yeah.
you're talking about the windows,
Yeah, it's like the windows on the back.
right? So a soft top and the
Yeah.
two side windows
It's
and
like
the
the
one in
black
the
part on the back.
Right.
Over like the where you
And who's going to remove the windows?
you.
No,
wait, no,
you
me.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. It's your video, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to show everybody how to do this. So,
Yeah.
but it's pretty cool. So we have a lot of stuff. You know, we just dropped the video today about the 2.3 EcoBoost. If anybody has any questions, if you want to ask me about the EcoBoost in general, whether it be 2.7 or 2.3, hey, I'm here for you. If it's about the ordering process after tomorrow, totally gonna blow your mind. You know, I watch, I listen, I pay attention to everything going on, and I guarantee you that at least no one that we watch or pay attention to online has been through this yet.
Yeah.
So it's totally changed for 22 in the ordering process and what you can and can't do. It's amazing. So we do have our second Bronco officially ordered. We have a build date the week of December 20th. Boy, that's right there. We have Christmas, then you have the week. I'm assuming they're off the week after, right? Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
And then you have New Year's, and then what do you think?
And it's probably gonna be built.
Well, it's supposed to be built right before Christmas,
Or like
but I'm talking
delivered
about
like July
January.
or yeah, January.
I'm anticipating the second week of January. It could be the first week, but let's just say second week of January.
First, second, or third week of January. That's my estimate.
So tomorrow night we'll reveal what the order is and all the details about it and what we plan on doing with it. And this was early on, first night reservation holder for two. Technically a day two for the second one because it was the website was crashed, and we got our first order in, which we've taken delivery of that.
Yes.
It's actually in the garage. Where is it? Right there.
It's like right below, right where the steps.
That's right. And so, and then it was after midnight that I got the reservation for Bronco 2. So technically, day 2, because
Yeah.
after midnight. And but so either way, then this was always the plan early on. It's just that the timeline had changed, and then the top sort of changed things a little bit. So we have that to go over tomorrow night as well. So the 2.3, we did the video today. What'd you think about that?
That's pretty cool.
Pretty informational, right?
Yeah.
So the EcoBoost engines in general are really cool engines. So like I said, if you have any questions about them, let me know. They're not perfect. I know sometimes I get accused of like rose-colored glasses and stuff, but I look at the macro, right? I look at if there's 5 million on the road or 3 million on the road or whatever the number is. It sucks if the 1 or 2 people, 3 or 100 people have had the issue, but out of 3 million, if there's 10 blown engines, I hate to say it, but it really, in the scheme of things, it's not a huge deal unless it happens to you. And then it's like the biggest deal. And I get that. I really do. Now, the one thing, Gavin, I've been talking to you privately about oil pressure.
Yeah.
And cam phasers.
Yes.
Maybe in the future we'll hear more about that. Just sort of the thinking going on here. But how do we like our Bronco?
It's pretty cool, of course.
Pretty cool.
And we might take the doors off soon, if possible. I'm gonna try and convince them to do that tomorrow.
Hey, so we just had a comment come in, by the way, and we're only going to be on this live stream like 20 minutes tonight because Gavin's kind of worn out from trick or treating. We have a question come in. Happen to know if there's an oil separator on the PCV valve? So I don't think there is. The big talk about is you have cylinder blow by. We know that, and we need somewhere for that vapor to go, and prefer it not to go into the intake and then into the valve. So what I'm trying to figure out, now believe it or not, this is harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
Can we, without affecting the warranty, add a oil separator in the PCV system? And that is a question. Now, some of these, all right, so think about a boosted engine. And I don't have the schematic in front of me, but if you think about a boosted engine, out of the valve cover for the 2.3 or covers for the 2.7, you have the PCV system that dumps into the intake.
Yeah.
What happens to the intake when you're stepping on the gas and creating boost, 12, 13 pounds of boost?
I don't know.
So an intake, imagine you're drinking a drink through a straw, right?
Yeah.
So like everything's going in that straw. It's under negative pressure.
Pressure, yeah.
It's negative pressure.
It's
like a vacuum.
Yeah,
very good.
Vacuum. Or a reverse leaf blower.
So what happens if that drink that you were now drinking yourself suddenly starts to blow like through the straw? It becomes positive pressure, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's if you like stuck a hose on the other side and went.
Right, and then and all that. So basically, bad analogy night here tonight. So essentially, the way it works is the vacuum on the PCV system. Now this changes per engine, per model, per brand. I get it. Whether it's aftermarket, if it was done at the factory, but there is a little known second circuit in there, or vacuum circuit, that goes in front of the turbo. So it actually drops into a negative pressure. It's kind of hard to say, but if your PCV comes out of the valve cover and goes into the intake, and then you start creating boost, the vacuum, you go from a vacuum to a positive pressure in the intake, that affects the PCV system. So with a boosted engine, there's all sorts of little things going on. But to answer your question, I'm trying to find out if we installed an oil separator. And, technically it's not supposed to catch moisture, even though they do. But mainly it's separating oil and other, crud from the vapor before it goes into the intake. I'm trying to figure out if that'll void our warranty. If it will not, you will be seeing me install one even on my 2.7 EcoBoost.
I'm going to do something real quick.
You want to do something real? Don't walk off with your headphones.
I'm not.
So, and that's a very good question, because, that is a big deal. With the 2.3, you don't have the luxury of dual injection. So we don't have that other injector kind of treating or helping to wash the carbon off of the intake valves in this case. So it is truly just a direct injection engine. Now, I watched the video today of somebody that has a Mustang with 78,000 miles. They do have a tuning kit in it. The tuning kit, the tuning program favors rich, I think, it burning rich. So you would think there that there would be more of a carbon issue. But a rich cylinder boosted is depends on the timing, may not necessarily have more blow by than a lean burn. So it was a good question, but basically at 78,000 miles, they had their two intake valves, and you know it had carbon buildup on it. I don't know if you've ever seen the process. There's a process called walnut blasting, where you can clean the stuff off. But this is stuff that happens way down the road. This is so far in our future. Um, if you use the right oils, the synthetic blend in the engine now, if you use that or better, and you change it in the proper intervals, and use a really good gas, I think you're going to be fine. Now we do have some stuff we're going to be talking about. Detonation is something I don't know if we have a video coming up on that. So I have a video about turbos as well. Turbo etiquette, how to take care of the turbo. If you're a first time turbo owner, some of this stuff is going to be really valuable for you. If you've had a turbo in the past, you kind of know the basics, you get it. But this is one of those situations where the fuel that you burn, the higher the octane, in some cases, the least amount of detonation you can have. Now, when people say, well, when an engine detonates, then, I know it because I have parts all over the road. That's not necessarily. Engines now have knock sensors in them, and they're trying to pick up on those micro detonation series. When you have that uncontrolled out of time burn of fuel, and typically it burns in two different places in the cylinder and it meets. You have the piston coming up, you have this uncontrolled burn, and the piston and that expansion in the molecules, the gas and the air, hits the piston, and that's the noise. And you're hearing the sound wave when you hear a knock in an engine, ignition knock like that, detonation. Engines now have they have knock sensors to kind of, when it picks up on that, it starts changing the timing and the fuel mixture as well. A lot of people don't know that in some EcoBoost tunes that you actually have two shots of fuel on one combustion stroke. So you get a little bit of fuel as the piston's coming up, and then you get another shot right before top dead center. So it's a really cool, really cool situation. If you think about, this sounds like an oxymoron or whatever you want to say. Hopefully that's not an insult or anything. But if you think about an explosion in a cylinder, you think total chaos, right? But there's actually a smooth ignition. Smooth ignition is where, if this is the top of the head and this is the piston, as the piston is coming up and compressing the air and the molecules of the gas, the compression of those molecules builds heat. You also have heat around the engine and the cylinder and the head and things like that. But just before top dead center, the spark plug sparks. What we call, lights off, ignition. And so the idea is you start from the plug and you start a controlled burn out. And then as the piston finishes that stroke, you have a smooth expansion in that cylinder. And then that force pushes the piston back down, and that's propulsion. That's what's happening. The problem is that it, instead of this cushion, like if you threw a golf ball in a 5-gallon bucket and you heard it clanging around, that's detonation, right? Bad example. That's two bad examples in one night. Yeah. If you throw it in a bucket with leaves in it, so think about that controlled ignition. You want it to be as smooth as possible. Detonation is just chaos, and it's out of time, out of control. And low octane fuel can cause that. Engine temperature can cause it. There's probably 10 things that could cause it, but the most popular is timing and octane and temperature. So anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about the oil. Oh, yeah. So the oil and the gas and detonation, we're going to try to keep that off. I'm starting to really, think about how I can make sure that we treat our 2.7 Badlands with, kid gloves until the break-in period. Some people think that engines do not need a break-in period. I've built a lot of engines over the years. some stock, some that create an insane amount of horsepower, and every single one of them either had break-in time, hours on the road, idle time, or dyno time. Because there's new camshafts are different, oils different, tolerances in these new engines are incredibly tight. But the biggest thing about camshafts is that we want to make sure that we put a pre-lube on the camshafts and make sure that the valves and the lifters and everything is sort of meshing and working together, and we don't have any unusual problems, and we don't find we want to find those problems at idle and not at 7,000 RPMs. So what you got? What? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. What was it? So what was your costume? Tell everybody what you.
So I was X-Lord from Fortnite, and hold on.
You gonna go get it?
Yes, or not the costume, but
You go get the mask.
Or I'll go show the picture that came in the thing,
Okay.
in the big bag.
So while Gavin's getting that, we'll talk about it. I didn't dress up. I just kind of walked Gavin around the neighborhood and stuff like that. So we live in a really cool. We have a great neighborhood, so it's a pretty cool place. It can get a little loud sometimes around here, but everybody's having fun. Here we go. Check this out right here. So that was Mr. Gavin's costume tonight. All right. So how about, have we ever talked about costumes on a Bronco live stream?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It was the first time for everything, folks. So tonight was pretty cool. But yeah, next week we go to, we have a new format starting where we try to bring you some more detailed information, guests to the show, things that can help add to your Bronco experience, your off-roading, your outdoors experience. Next Saturday? Next Saturday, we're doing a day tripping video. We'll be in Roanoke, Virginia next Saturday. Of course, we'll be here Sunday, and so Sunday night we'll have our live with our special guests. So watch out for announcements on that this week. It's going to be really cool. We're going to kind of switch this up a little bit, and now we have our Bronco. We're starting to do this day tripping stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Dad, I want to ride. Oh, sorry, I want to ride partially up to Roanoke with the doors off if the weather's nice enough.
If the doors off, we'll see. All right, we'll see.
If the weather's nice
at least maybe the top back. Right?
Yeah.
So
maybe.
Yeah, we have some cool stuff planned for Roanoke. So part of the Bronco, the experience is not just off-roading. It's that day trip you want to take with your family and go see some cool stuff, and we're going to go do that, right?
Yeah.
So we just had a trip to Bacon's Castle. And now the next trip is Roanoke. And then we have a couple good videos. We're actually going to do an oil change on a 2.7. And you've heard the issue, right? Between is it 6 quarts, 6.4, or is it 7 quarts? Which one is it? It's sort of like, where's Waldo? If Waldo was that 7th quart, I know where he is. And in maybe 2 weeks, it's going to depend on the mileage. We're going to do an oil change, how-to oil change video on a 2.7 Bronco that is going to identify where that 3/4 to a quart of oil goes, depending on who you listen to. And I already know where it is. So we're definitely gonna do that. And I think it's going to be educational too. When I watch videos, certain oil changes, there's a few things that are out of sequence that can really matter. Some of them are small, personal opinions, and some of them are more significant. So we're going to have that step-by-step way of how to change the oil on a 2.7.
Yeah.
Now, if you do it on a 2.7, it's a little bit different on a 2.3.
Yeah.
2.7 has a cartridge style filter, and a 2.3 has more of the traditional metal spin-on filter. One has a metal drain plug, one has a plastic plug, one holds more oil than the other, and it's all really cool. So our oil change video will be on the 2.7. How do you do it, and how do you make sure that you don't have too much or too little oil in the engine, and where the heck is the 7th quart at? So Gavin and I already know where it is, and we're going to do that video. So next week will be day tripping, Roanoke, Virginia.
Yes. And so, like I said earlier, tomorrow, or at the earliest tomorrow, we will be posting a video, of course, on, so of course the top,
Hey, Terrence, how are you? Terrence is here.
Oh,
Sorry, so I just saw that. I was reading through some of the comments. Hey, sorry to cut
7
you
minutes
off.
ago.
Sorry to cut you off, buddy.
So we
Let
are.
me answer this one question, and then the mic is all yours, my man. I'm assuming the variable cam timing could help with the knock as well. So yeah, so basically what's happening is the module is picking up on the knock sensor is basically a microphone, right? And when it starts to pick up on the knock, the timing is changed. It's either advanced or retarded. Most of the cases, I think it's retarded, and in some cases it's advanced, but most of the time they back it up. The fuel mixture can change, and so it's you know it's not a flawless system, but it works, right? And so as the timing is changing, competent, and so the cam phasers are obviously it's not just ignition timing, but changing the valve opening and closing in relation to that cylinder as well. So that does help. There's actually a process in an EcoBoost to where the intake valve under boost can start to open before the exhaust valve is closed. So they try to purge out the cylinder. So there's just a split second of this. And the only way that can happen sometimes and not all the time is with variable cam timing. So they can independently move the intake valves from the exhaust valve versus a fixed camshaft on a traditional engine. The lobes on the camshaft determine when that valve or that cam follower is pushing down on the valve itself. And so, yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. So any questions you have about that, other than we're 22 minutes into this and you're ready to go night-night, aren't you?
Yes, I'm
Are you tired?
very tired.
So anybody have any more questions for us tonight? Tonight, like I said, tonight's a kind of a busy night for everyone. So look forward to us next Sunday night when we have our special guest here. We're going to go into detail, and I look forward to everyone being here. We have a video tomorrow night talking about this ordering process, chaos, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's really cool that what we have thought for over a year and a half is either wrong or it's changed. And I just have to have one person give me the okay. And then tomorrow night, so we probably won't do a live. I'll probably do a video. So hopefully I can share some of the proof that I have for this. We just went through it. It was a whirlwind between Wednesday and Friday of last week. And this is for our second Bronco. One thing I'll tell you is there's someone actually that I don't know him personally, but I know him through a connection that they ordered a Bronco. They haven't been waiting like the rest of us. They ordered a Bronco and they got a build date within a week. Is that insane?
They're lucky.
Yeah.
We had to wait a year and a half.
Yeah.
I'm saying you might want to close that. There's too much technology around here.
Oh, the water?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're good to go. So, hey, but everyone, I appreciate it. It's little man's bedtime here. So next Sunday, watch out for the advertisement on who our guest will be. This week, we'll announce it. We do have another video coming up. Next Sunday, we start at 8 p.m. So it'll be a little bit earlier, and looking forward to it. A little bit more in detail content. And I can stay here longer on the, hey, thank you. We can stay here a little bit longer if we want to. I know Sunday's kind of a strange night. A lot of people getting up, go to work the next day. So, it's probably like, but whatever.
Yeah.
Sunday night. YouTube says Sunday night's hot between 7 and 11. So we'll find out. So anyway, we'll see you next week. Happy Halloween for everyone. And thank you. Appreciate you tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.